Ladies and gentlemen, I wish this video was just a regular Ultimate Team video, however, I can't for the life of me seem to get onto the servers, which is incredibly frustrating. So instead, I've gone ahead and created 10 concept cards for icons that I think should be in FC25 and aren't in FC25. And unlike the Heroes video I did, which you should check out, I've included exclusively fully retired players. But yeah, go check that video out, and while you do so, subscribe to the channel. 500 subs would look a lot more satisfying, that's all I'm going to say. But without further ado, let's get on into the icons. And the first icon I've gone for is Francesco Totti. Look, I'll be honest, half of my family is Italian, and the ones who watched football, or calcio, seem to love Francesco Totti. I think I would have had a Totti top at one point when I was a little kid. Now I'm fully German. But, yeah, very good player, very good World Cup performances, loyal to Roma, a very silky playstyle about him, but I'm only going to give him an 87 rated card, as I think that's what he deserves when you look at other icons. I mean, being an icon is an honor, so congratulations on being an icon. And by the way, guys, I think we just broke the world record for saying icon the most times within this first minute of a video, so there you go. As you can see, we've got the skill moves and play styles laid out for you on the right there, and the card is on the left. Next up, I've gone for David Silva. And that is not what that's meant to say for positions. That is meant to say attacking mid, right wing, left wing, and centre mid. I don't know why it says right wing, right mid striker. I think David Silva is a criminally underrated player. Look, I know a lot of people actually do say he's better than Kevin De Bruyne. I personally don't believe so. I think De Bruyne's longevity and his peak is better. But David Silva is one of the silkiest players of all time. He has a great eye for a pass and a wand of a left foot. I think these stats represent him pretty well. The 62 physical as well definitely does. He was never the strongest of players, and I think his role in Spain's successful era is somewhat underplayed. He might not have been the biggest name in the team, but I definitely think he was one of the players that contributed decently well. Next up, I've gone for Giorgio Chiellini, a no-nonsense centre-back. One of my favourite genres of defenders are defenders who love defending. You know what I mean? Like, they're not afraid to get their head where other people would be scared to put their foot. I've just said a quote, I think that was about Nemanja Vidic, but I think it also applies to Chiellini. Never the fastest defender, never the most technically impressive or passing sort of eye for a pass defender. He probably wouldn't be the best in the modern game, saying that. He did win the Euros and pretty much forced himself into retirement after that. I think he was playing through injury. I do think he was the best out of that Juventus trio of Barzagli, Bonucci and Chiellini. 3-star, 3-star I think is fair. Most of the defensive play styles plus relentless and aerial, I think that suits him pretty well. And the fourth icon I've gone for is Arjen Robben. Look, I had to include him. I think he does deserve to have one. You know, Robben, Ribéry, you probably look at them as pretty much the same level. I think I've given Robben 89, Ribéry only an 88 in the game. I think they could probably both be 89. Obviously, we were going to give him finesse shot plus, giving him power shot as well. Rapid, quick step. I think all those play styles are fair. Very good stats as well. Maybe pace could be even higher. Honestly, it's so disrespectful to see these days that people are going cutting in on his left foot like Bukayo Saka, from a guy who's probably scored 5 or 6 of those goals in his career. Nearly every single one of Arjen Robben's goals was from cutting in and shooting on his left. Now, I know that's not true, that it was probably less than 50%, but that's what you know him for. I think he even said his right foot is only there for standing on. That's all it's useful for. And I'll never forget that goal in the Champions League final. Thank you so much, Arjen Robben. You should be an icon in this game. I'm really confused why you're not. Next player up, we've gone for Toni Kroos. It probably doesn't even feel like he's retired yet, but he is. He is not playing football anymore. It's such a shock because he retired at the highest level. He did not drop off. I don't think there was a single point where I'm thinking, yeah, it's time to retire. I think he picked a great time. Maybe he knew he had nothing left in his legs. I mean, he was never known for his pace, but he definitely wasn't at his fastest in recent years. So I've given him a very well-rounded card with all the passing play styles, as I think that's his best attribute. One of the best passers of all time. I don't think that's ridiculous to say.
That's not ridiculous. That's not ridiculous to say that.
And just a solid, well-rounded player. Obviously, giving him that 5-star weak foot, he's pretty damn good on both. Winning the World Cup with Germany in 2014, is it 6 Champions Leagues as well, 5 with Madrid and 1 with Bayern, if I'm not mistaken. I've also given him low driven and finesse shot because he actually, you can't do it on the game, but he used to love doing this combination where he would just curl it along the ground with a decent bit of power into the bottom corner, and I kind of think that's a low driven finesse, I guess you could call it that. Honestly, I maybe could have given him a higher rating. In my eyes, he probably does deserve a higher rating, but I saw Xavi was 90, and I'm like, I don't want to let my bias take over too much. He definitely deserves an icon, though. At least 89. I don't think you can argue with that. And next up, we've got Matthias Sammer, and unlike the hero video, where I picked Romario and then went, to be honest, I don't know, I just power shot because people hit it hard. That was probably quite a stupid thing. I actually did some research before this video and watched probably like half an hour, 20 minutes of highlights of each of the 3 players who were in here, who were way before my time. And oh my god, Matthias Sammer impressed me so much. It's probably Sammer. Doesn't really matter. I knew he won the Ballon d'Or as a defender, which, you know, it doesn't happen very often. The last person to do it is Cannavaro in 2006 for his World Cup performances and a rigged Serie A season, which is interesting how he was allowed to be nominated, but whatever. This guy has impressed me. I'm sure he doesn't need to hear it from the King Ranger YouTube channel, but wow, I watched some highlights of him and there were so many goal-scoring ones. That's what impressed me the most. I always knew he was a solid defender just based on his reputation, so I've given him bruiser because I think his strength dictated the way he played quite a lot just from those 20 minutes of highlights. And again, it's not the best representation of his whole entire career, but I think I got what I needed from that compilation, or those compilations. Very well-rounded player, very quick, very strong on the ball as well, very good attacking IQ, like playing 1-2s, making runs in behind, all of that sort of stuff. And I did some more research, and he did play towards the midfield later in his career. There's not much more I can say about him. That I think that pretty much sums him up. Just surprisingly good at dribbling. That would be my main thing, like getting around other defenders. Yeah. When I originally made the concept card, this was the first one I made of a player I hadn't really watched. I think I had his dribbling down at like 77 because I was like, I don't want him to be too OP. But I watched it and I'm like, oh my god, he is actually really, really good. So there you go. This would actually be a very overpowered card. And speaking of overpowered cards, actually maybe not the most OP, Marcelo. Now you might think I'm absolutely crazy giving Marcelo a 90 rated card, and yeah, no, I would actually agree with you. Why the hell have I done that? Because he's not really better than Toni Kroos or any of the players I mentioned before, but I think the way I'm going to justify this is, personally, I have him as the greatest left back in the last 20 years. I think his overall game is probably better than Roberto Carlos, part of one of the most successful Real Madrid teams in their entire history, playing an integral role in their three-peat, and a few seasons after that, quite a few seasons before that. I think he's definitely one of the most entertaining left-backs of all time. No, you know what, I will say the most entertaining left-back of all time. 5-star skills, 4-star weak foot, very well-rounded stats. That's the stats of a centre midfielder. He's just a brilliant, marauding left-back. Love to get forward. And look, I know it's going to sound crazy, biased, who I'm about to compare him to. He's not on the level of Marcelo, but he can dictate the game from left-back, like how Kimmich can from right-back. But Marcelo would do so more throughout his dribbling and flair and getting the ball forward, whereas Kimmich will do it with his passing. But yeah, I think Marcelo probably should be an icon on the game, and if he is, I think he's the best left back. I know people will say Ashley Cole, but I just prefer Marcelo. Next up, Andres Iniesta. And I'm not saying he's better than Xavi. I also think Xavi should go up in a rating, but this is the card I've given Iniesta. Most of the passing play styles, very good at dribbling. I just hope that when they do... Again, how is he not on the game? Anyway, very good player. Do I really need to say anything about Andres Iniesta? Part of the most successful Spanish team in history, part of the most successful Barcelona period in history. And now we're moving on to the people who I didn't watch play because I am not ancient. Di Stefano, you always hear his name. All the old heads say he's brilliant. So I went and watched the tapes. My God, were they grainy, but I watched them. And what impressed me the most was his ability to hold off people on the ball and get out of tight situations, which I think is attributed to the press-proven playstyle. I know when a lot of people make a concept of this card, they'd probably give him power shot or fit, like some sort of shooting playstyle, but that is what impressed me the most about the way he played. Then was actually his passing. I saw there was a few clips of him playing really nice through balls, some Trivela passes, but of course, like all the olden days players, we have to give him power shot. They love to leather the ball and low driven. Flair, I think he was a very tricky player from the clips I saw. Technical, that goes along with that. And quick step, I probably should have given him rapid because he looked fast on the ball, so rapid would make more sense. But yeah, definitely deserving of the 5-star skills and the 4-star weak foot. I know I shouldn't be saying really impressed me because you all know how good he is. You've all heard of him. But I think those play styles, that rating is fair for him, considering R9's like 94, Pele's 95, and I think Maradona's 95 as well. He's just that little level below them. And then the 10th player in this video is Michel Platini. Now, I think he's not in the game because of corruption. Or something around the World Cup, I can't remember, but I think Beckenbauer and potentially Gerd Müller were involved in a very similar scandal, and they're both in the game now. Platini, in my mind, has always been this silky, smooth, brilliant to watch player, and when I watch the tapes, slightly less grainy than Di Stefano, I would agree, hence why I've given him technical, but he actually scored some very impressive headers. Not just beating players in the air, but like sprinting across the box to win a header, and it goes straight into the bottom corner. He's also got the 5-star, 4-star combo. I think he's a player who should be in the game, because when people talk about the greats of all time, him and Di Stefano are mentioned. And by the way, with Di Stefano, I didn't know what nation to give him, so I just went with Argentina. I think that's what he's more known for, maybe Spain instead. Because I think he represented Argentina, Spain, and Colombia, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, guys, that is 10 icons who I think should be added into the next FIFA or should have just been in this game. And by the way, if you think I've left someone out, let me know down below in the comments. I'm willing to hear you out. It's not necessarily that I don't think all these other players should be in. It's just that these are the ones I kind of wanted to make a concept card for. But anyway, guys, please do be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.